Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm not going to show you guys how to make something or craft something because it's not really my thing. I'm going to show you guys how to do something that you do with your heart. And the story that I'm going to tell you is a little depressing, so if you're like easily shaking, you might want to tune me out for like 10 seconds. But there's this little girl, and her name's Elizabeth, and she's 6 years old. Well, she's not, she was 6. And she lived with her mom and her mom's boyfriend. And she watched her mom kill her baby brother. And she was also raped by her mom's boyfriend. And on top of that, her grandpa also pulled her teeth out with pliers. So she was a very disturbed child. And because she had all these disturbed, she had behavioral issues. And she had this, all this was written down on paper, so nobody wanted her because they're like, well, she has behavioral issues, we don't want her. And so with that in mind, this is why you should become a foster parent, because everyone has children in their life, right? And you guys all, you may not want to be a foster parent, but if something happens to you and they can't find anybody to take your kid, then they put them in temporary foster care. And so at the very least, you should want to know what happens to your kids if they can't find somebody to take them. And my reason why I'm talking about this is because my parents are foster parents, so I get kids in my house all the time, and I've been doing this for years, so I know how it works inside and out. And today I'm going to tell you, because there's requirements you have to follow in order to be a foster parent, and there's steps that you have to take in order to become a foster parent. And the state of Indiana has minimum requirements that you have to follow, and then depending on which agency you go through, there's requirements that you also have to abide by depending on the agency. And the agency that I'm going to go by their requirements is Adult and Child, because it's one of the more well-known agencies in Indiana, and it's one of the agencies that it's the only one you ever really hear about in Indiana, and it's the one my parents go through. And their requirements are that you have to be at least 25 years old, you have to be able to financially support yourself without any public assistance. Even though once you have the child, like if you have a baby for a while, you can go apply for WIC even though they're not your kid, and you can still get WIC and food stamps to help feed the kid. So don't let it, I can't afford it, stop you from doing it. And you can be single, divorced, married, partner. They don't judge based on your marital status because it's just all about can you support yourself. And all the residents in your household have to go through background checks if they're over the age of 14, because they have to make sure that the kid will be safe in the house. And you must have reliable insurance and transportation, because they have to make sure that the kid's going to be safe to drive them, because you're not going to be at home with the kid 24/7. And your home also has to follow bedroom regulations. Depending on the agency, an Adult and Child's agency, bedroom regulations are, there has to be, like you can have more than one kid in the same room, but there has to be 5 feet by 5 feet, and they have to have a window in every room that any kid under 18 is in. And so like if there's 2 kids in the room, then you have to have 5 feet by 5 feet for each kid for personal space. And, okay, so assuming you fit all these requirements, then you can go on to the steps that you need to take. And there's 7 steps that you have to follow, and the first one is you have to call the agency and get have them send you the information packet. And you have to apply for all the training and fill out the paperwork to become a foster parent, and then you actually have to do the training and pass all the training, and all the training is free. They pay for it because they're not going to get anybody to do it if they make you pay to become one. And you have to successfully complete all the agency's background checks, which they have sex offender checks and health checks, and just to make sure that the child will be safe in your house. And you also have to get health checks on every person in the house, because they have to make sure that the kid, isn't going to get sick and die while they're in your house. Like, because my family, everybody in the house had to get a TB shot in order for us to get kids, because we didn't have TB shots. And you also have to, this was the hardest one, is you have to get 4 personal references from people that aren't family members, and they do call the people and check, so don't try to do a family member, because they do everything to check and make sure they're not related to you, and they're just a personal connection that you've had for at least 3 years. And then the last one that they do is the home study, And that's where they come to your house, they go to every single room, and depending on what children you take, they check and make sure that babies will be safe in your house. They check and make sure that you have medicine put up in lock boxes. They check and make sure that you fit the bedroom requirements. They check the whole house. And they talk to the kids in the house too to make sure that, you know, you actually take care of them. So they'll like interview people in the house. And now that you guys know how to become a foster parent, you guys probably want to know why. What's the point, right? And there's benefits to becoming a foster parent. I mean, like, you guys are probably thinking that, you know, I don't have the money to take care of extra kids on top of my kids. Well, that's not a problem because there's money benefits to being a foster parent. And they give you daily, allowances per kid. Like, if it's just a regular, like when I say regular kid, I mean like a kid without any special needs. They give you $25 a day per kid in your house for just regular kids. And if they have special needs, depending on their special needs, the allowance goes up. And they recognize you and you get awards and stuff if you're like an exemplary foster parent. You get paid respite days, which is where if you like just need a break from the kids, so another foster parent watches them and you still get paid because they're your kids, they're just temporarily in another house. And you continue to get training and it's all free, and you get like the WIC and the food stamps if you go apply for it. And you get holiday and summer activity assistance, which what that is if you keep the kids long term, they give you clothing orders, and they give you, I think it was $100 to spend over them over the summer. I mean, you have to spend it on the kid, because I mean, they make you fill out receipts and everything, but it's just free money that you spend on the kid for Christmas, on top of whatever you want to spend on them. And then you also get money if you recruit somebody to be a foster parent, and they just have to say that you're the one that recruited them. And on top of that, it's just the emotional benefits for it, and my family has emotional benefits because this lovely little picture right here is every child that has been in my house that my family has helped. And I like being able to say that my family has helped all these children have better lives. That is the emotional benefit to it. All right, and now that everybody in this room knows everything that you need, that all the basic requirements, I encourage you to give it a try, or at least tell someone else about it, because a lot of people don't even know what foster care is. And the little girl that I talked about at the beginning, Elizabeth, she was my cousin. And nobody would take her because of the problems that was wrong with her, so we took her into our house and we watched her, and you know, she really wasn't as behavioral as they said. She was just a sweet girl that was scared. And now her grandparents have adopted her and she lives with her grandparents and she's fine.